Okay, so August, a recap.
Yes.
Yes, go.
Mm, so we just recorded another episode and I'm all out of words.
Okay. I'll try and start. So, what did we do in August? Wait, let me look at my calendar. Let me see what was in our calendar in August. I know like the big projects we were working on, but I don't know, did anything that exciting happen?
I mean,
I guess one thing that was nice is that we finished one project that I was working on, um, with our designer. That was nice to get that out of the way. I feel like it's always nice when you finish something. Yeah. You can hand it off and someone else can deal with the rest. 'Cause that's kind of the experience when you're a web designer, you're only on it for, like, the first half of the project, and you hand it off, and then the developers can deal with the rest, so that's kinda nice.
yeah.
But in this case, it wasn't you, so that was also nice. 'Cause I was just looking at the things and I saw, okay, there was the handle for that. Okay, other than that, we've been working on internal projects mostly because, yeah, it's kind of been a summer downtime for us, project-wise, client work-wise. One of the clients that we kind of do a lot of ongoing work for, they all go away during the summer. Like, everyone's on holiday, so not a lot moves forward.
No,
There wasn't a lot to do there.
no, but I feel like I would say on a level of how much I was working this month, it was on par with client work.
Yeah, because we have 2 actually 3 things we're doing internally right now.
And it's difficult to find like the balance because sometimes I'm really motivated for this project, but at the same time, okay, no, I need to like put it to the side and work on the other project so that moves forward as well. And I mean, we will share it quite soon.
Yes.
So
We already shared in another recap episode about or maybe we even did an episode on it. No, I think we talked about doing a whole episode on lead generation. I
yeah,
don't think we ever did it.
no, we should do it.
But one of the episodes where we did a recap, we talked about how we focused a lot of time on the website and getting it kind of like, I don't know, SEO compliant,
Yeah,
like, in the sense that people will find us just on Google, and also, yeah, for lead generation purposes,
yeah, a
mainly.
lot of blah blah that you have to put on the website that you usually wouldn't put on the website, especially I think for an agency or like a studio. I feel like now since I'm doing all the sub pages or I just finished them, I just see all this repetitiveness and everything
Mhm.
where I'm like, oh my God, there's so much text. Like, who's gonna read this? But probably no one's gonna read this. But
But it will make us, I guess, come up on Google,
I really hope
hopefully.
so. I really hope so. No, overall though, I think it has been a big learning curve in that regard. Like I feel like we talk about this a lot that when you niche down, you actually still have so much to learn. So a lot of people have the misconception that when you niche down, it's a bit boring because you only focus on one thing. But trust me when I say this, or at least the web, is there's so much to learn. There's still, I feel like w- we just scratched the surface in a way because there's always something new. There's always so much, yeah, so much more that you can learn, so much more that you can optimize. And yeah, we are learning now just a few new concepts that we haven't really known.
SEO.
Yeah, I mean, we of course knew about SEO and but since we're not like an SEO agency, we didn't really specialize in it. But now that we know more of it, I think that will really help us also with client work and understanding that side and designing for that too.
Yeah, definitely. I think we always had SEO in mind and always did best practice things when creating the website, putting in the meta descriptions, page titles, and stuff like that. But I think what we never thought about for ourselves was how do we optimize our website for SEO. It was more like we did it for clients, but we didn't do it for ourselves.
It does like isn't this like kind of like also a creative theme? Like
Yeah.
usually your website is like kind of in the
Collecting dust.
collecting dust, not best practice, and just like out there so people can find you.
Yeah.
But you're usually the last person you actually design for. And I also think, at least in my experience, designing for yourself is really difficult because for a client, you meet the requirements, it's fine. And I don't know, you can detach more when you design for, at least in my experience, when I was now designing for Same Studio, I felt like way more overthinking things
Yeah.
than I usually would, maybe. I mean, yeah, I think I did more of that because there's always something you can do better. And yeah, so that experience kind of, wouldn't say humbled me again, but I realized why I'm not a designer anymore.
Yeah. But you did a lot of the design for the website.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
When do you think that's gonna be done?
So,
Yeah? Okay. So, like, what can we tell our audience about when they should look at our new website?
well, in the next weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, end of September?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely realistic.
Okay, cool, cool. So
Nice.
stay up to date, look at our website, check our website every week. You might see an update.
Yeah, no, of course. And there's a lot of things launching. So,
Yeah, the other thing we can actually talk about, we didn't talk about it before now because it wasn't really public. We kind of teased, like, if you go onto our website, um, that's linked in on the Instagram that you would find it. So we made a new website. We have so many domains, for all the ideas we've had in the past. Anyways, this one's called samesame.cc, and CC stands for
Creative Club.
yeah, and we wanna do another episode where we go into what that is, but just, like, a short description of what it is, because we also posted about it on Thread, didn't we? Yeah, we also posted about it in our last newsletter.
Yeah, I said Creative Club in a really weird way.
You did?
Yeah, you will hear it, I think, when you listen back to it.
I didn't notice, but, um, yeah, so the Same Creative Club is gonna be our community slash consulting branch of Same of the brand. We've had everything under one name for a really long time. So we had Same does design dev work, but we also do workshops and we also do podcasts and all this stuff and just it got kind of chaotic and confusing for us. So we wanted to kind of separate it.
Yeah, but more on that in the dedicated episode.
Yeah. But that's been something we've been working on a lot. Or actually I've been working on it mostly the last 3 weeks or so. Most of August was doing that.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of work and a lot of working in Framer, which is annoying. I just hate execution work, oh my god. It's fine up until I get to a point where I cannot anymore, like, why is this button not working? I don't care.
Yeah, I guess I had that with like the creative side of things.
Yeah.
Like there's only that much creativity I can output in a day, but I want to finish it. But then now I need to change all the other components so the design system makes sense again. And it's just like I feel like I'm always going in loops. That's why it's like taking longer than I expected it to take because yeah, I feel like I'm going in loops. Now I change this, of course, so as a consequence, I have to change the rest to make it make sense again. And yeah, and I think one of the bigger struggles with a portfolio website, in my opinion, are the case studies.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the time I spent on optimizing our case studies and creating new assets and recordings and everything. So it kind of makes sense in a storytelling way. I know that not a lot of people are reading them. I know that. I'm
Feel
aware
like
of
no
that.
one's gonna read it.
I know, but that's why I wanted to make it as fun and as engaging as possible.
Yeah.
In the sense of, okay, a lot of people just want to see the results. They don't read like, oh my God, why we did this, and I don't know all the philosophical things we were thinking why we did this
Mhm.
project. I don't think people care, but I really tried to make it bite-sized, whatever is there, and the rest is just visuals. And because let's be honest, I think most people just look at the visuals and are like, okay. But I think that there are some clients um, that want to know what the project like actually what the results were of the project.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think also it's gonna be an interesting thing regardless, just to see if the lead generation tactics that are, like, recommended actually work.
Yeah, we'll be the judge of that. So we should do a dedicated episode on that only, but we'll only do an update later.
Yeah, like, once we've implemented it and actually seen if there are any results, or we've given it time to know, like, if there are gonna be results at all.
Exactly. So overall, this is gonna be a topic for later, and really trying to like think of like
I know one more thing that involves both of us, and I have another thing that involves you that happened this month. So, I'll start with the one that involves both of us, and then we can end on the last thing. So, because it kinda ties into it. So, everyone knows we're doing this new project called Factor, which is going to be an app, like a web app, but also a website. We're building a brand with this thing. It's gonna be a calculator to help you do value-based pricing, actually. We talked about this for a lot. It was like, are we doing project-based pricing with this, or is it value-based? And I feel like in a lot of ways, it is value-based. It's not the kind of value-based you hear online where it's like, oh, Nike comes to you with a logo and it's Nike, so you have to, charge at least 500,000 for that. It's like actual numbers and factors that you can apply to the price that gives you a price at the end that's like makes sense for the project you're doing.
yeah, yeah. It's I feel like it's like a fusion between value and project
Yeah.
based.
And it's gonna be really cool and really accessible even to beginners, I feel like. Even people who have been in the business for a long time and have everything sorted out, even for them, it's just gonna make quoting so much faster.
Yeah, maybe we should also mention at this point that um, we had like a questionnaire and some really interesting results came out of it. I mean, something we were already like assuming. To be
Yeah.
fair, it was kind of like confirmation, more or less, but it's still interesting. And one thing stood out to me a lot, which was more than 60% of freelancers have like plus 4 years of experience, but only 35% feel confident with their rates, which is kind of alarming if you think about it. If you have 4 years of experience in the field and you are still not confident in pricing, that's huge. And it just
Yeah.
really just shows that this landscape is so intransparent. I don't fault the freelancers at all.
No.
It's a mix of the industry, it's a mix of
Lack of education
yeah.
even before you start. So you're just learning by doing, and then there's a lot of mistakes being made, clients just not wanting to pay you, so you just adjust your prices based off of that. That's so much.
There's just so much going on. That's also why like this project motivates me even more now. I was already super motivated before, but seeing the numbers black and white and hearing other people's comments about it or reading on threads about people struggling with pricing, it just really shows that something that we are building is I wouldn't say like a glue, but like something that solves a big issue.
It's also something that people could use as just an educational tool. Like, you wouldn't even have to use it to create quotes if you didn't want to, but just going onto that the goal would be that people could just go onto this website, put in, like, details about their project that they are quoting for a client, and then just to see what would be like an industry standard rate for that, because there isn't anything out there. We don't have industry standard rates. Like when you, for example, in Austria, there's a pretty clear understanding of when you go to, for example, the dentist, how much you're gonna pay for like teeth cleaning, how much you're gonna pay for things that aren't covered by insurance, like a filling. There's a pretty standard rate for that. So everyone knows you go to a dentist, you expect that like a certain amount, and you're like, okay, that's fine. There's nothing like that in the creative industry. People are always expecting really low rates, and then when things are higher than expected, they always question now. And it's because there's no standardized expectation in our industry about pricing and how much things cost and how much they're worth.
Yeah, it's so variable. It's almost like when we were doing the tool and discussing and how to get to like the right budgets and the right pricings, we had so many discussions on what what other factors to put in because everything's so variable that it's extremely difficult to actually like calculate something 100% accurate. And that's not even our goal because I would say it's impossible because there's
Yeah.
just so much depending on the context that you're in. However, I do think looking at it from a perspective of an industry standard and looking at it from a perspective of um, in what realm should I price this thing, for that is going to be extremely helpful.
Yeah, and also I think it's gonna be helpful for people, if everyone were to use this tool or like a big number of people in the industry, if it would become like something to look at as a reference, then long term, I see it as a way to standardize prices in the creative industry. Like, if people are open about, "Yeah, we use the prices based off of this standard that has been set by the creative community," then and if everyone were to be doing that together as, like, a collective, it would be like a union. It would be like a way to unionize the creative industry in a way where clients can no longer be like, "Why is this so expensive? Because this person's giving it wants to give it to me for way less." That just wouldn't happen anymore if enough people were to get on board, and that's like a big dream kind of idea, but I think that is another goal that we're kind of have with that tool.
Yeah, I mean, also to add to that is that we are gonna be validating the budgets that it generates.
Yeah.
So for us, it's extremely important to get a lot of perspective and to see if the budgets that it generates are realistic for the people, for the creative industry, or for the people working in the creative industry.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing this all very publicly, and, we're gonna be sharing more about it on social media, about our process. So if you're interested in go follow factor.so on Threads, and there you can also get to the website and sign up for the newsletter. I'm trying to get the newsletter out like every 2 weeks, and I've been enjoying the newsletter aspect of the project because I just like telling stories and it's fun to like write about the real experiences that we're having and kind of telling the story of the behind the scenes. I think the newsletter is interesting. I'm also trying to add like educational value as well. So not just telling the story, but also why we made certain decisions and why it's important to think about those things. And that brings me to the second thing that I wanted to mention of what happened in August, which is more your thing, and that's, like, you getting active on social media. I feel like it's funny because you said it on the podcast a lot, and you say it all the time, like, when we're talking to other creatives, like, that you hate social media and having to do that, but you're really embracing it the last few weeks.
I am embracing it. um, I don't even know what sparked it, to be honest. No, I remember what sparked it. The thing is, I have like little life missions. And one of my life missions now is to get our other project going, more or less.
Which one?
Oh my God, there's so many projects. Actually, two projects going. We're building in public for Factor,
Yeah,
and therefore we actually need to build in public.
yeah.
So can't just like no one writes something that's kind of not working out. And the other project that where we're building a community, and if I'm not actively building a community, then it's not going to build itself. Like I need to be more active in that. I think my main struggle with social media is always the authenticity aspect of it,
Mhm.
and coming to terms that sometimes you have to just be like a little bit a persona.
Cringy.
That cringy, in order to get engagement. Sure, getting engagement shouldn't be like the ultimate goal. However, it's like social media. I mean, if you just like scream into the void, yeah, I don't know. It's not kind of rewarding, let's put it that way. And therefore, I'm now trying to just be more intentful and more regular with it because I do understand it as a powerful marketing tool also. And at the same time, I do enjoy interactions with other creatives. It's just really difficult to find people who are authentically themselves or who post content that's just not like this recycled, I don't know,
Pilaf.
recycled fluff. Exactly. So there are some people that I found and I really enjoy their content. but it's really difficult to read through, I have to say. So, but yeah, I see it as a tool, but I also see it as I'm trying to look at it as a more fun perspective and a more community perspective than before.
Yeah, I've also gotten active on LinkedIn, which I thought I'd never do. I have to say, I think I still find LinkedIn an unhinged place. There's no other way to describe it. It's literally unhinged.
It's in another world, on another different planet. I don't know. I have a very like torn perspective on LinkedIn now. I've seen some posts where I think, oh, this is really nice because there are like people who are actually like, I would say, have like similar values, and they also post like in a sense where I'm like, oh wow, okay, it is actually valuable and insightful. Talking about peers that I like was friends with on LinkedIn and I never really looked at their posts. On the other hand, what you're describing, it's like full of this, I don't know. I think again, my issue, it's a very the overarching issue of all social media is for me the authenticity of it all. And for me, LinkedIn is the most inauthentic place on the internet.
It's the I feel like it's also a place where the reach is insane in terms of the, like, how they connect A to B in a post. Like, this post this guy made about his about women on, like, getting more engagement. At the end of it, like, somehow at the end of it, it then tied back to his business and then about selling something, and I'm just like, how did we get here in, I don't know, 600 characters? Like, it's just so weird, and then, I don't know, there's been some crazy ones where someone was talking about his proposal or
Oh my
something,
God,
and then
that's so iconic.
what was it
What
again?
what I don't know. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something about what proposing to my fiance taught me about B2B sales or something like that.
Exactly. Like, why are we connecting our personal lives to our businesses like that? And why are you taking something like your engagement, which is like a really big deal in your personal life, then like turning it around into some kind of a, I don't know, weird business change your mindset kind of post.
I don't know. I think that's what it is for me. I mean, we are also trying to sell something. We're also trying to put people or like sign people up to our newsletters, and it's not like we are like completely not doing that. But I think that if everything ties back to selling something and not really giving value in exchange,
Yeah.
that's where I see like the problem. And if it's always just like selling, selling, selling and never really giving back, that's kind of what I find a bit difficult. Obviously, there's this really like this balance that you need to find between marketing and selling something, and at the same time trying not to. I at least find it difficult to balance.
Yeah, no, me too. It's also become more I've become more aware of it now where we're doing like multiple things where we're really gonna need to market them too. I feel like everything up until now we haven't need to market so much because it hasn't been really paid content like the podcast, who cares if people listen or not? Like there was never an end goal to that. I
Yeah.
think like the pricing tool is going to be free. But we do want people to use it. Like it needs to reach enough people for people to use it and actually make a difference. So there are goals there that you just don't really get around the marketing thing. And then also with the creative club, it's going to be similar. So
It feels a bit, I'm like, I feel a bit dirty
yeah,
sometimes.
me too.
So now I have to like kind of like put the link to the newsletter there. But it's like at the same time, how else would you build it? I don't know. This balance is a bit difficult. I think we'll get the hang of it eventually. But for me right now, it's like, oh my God, how do I post something without, I don't know, feeling salesy or feeling like sign up to this, sign up to that, do listen to this, do this and that, instead of just like providing value for that.
Yeah, but I guess one thing is that I mean, if people are don't want to sign up to our newsletter because they don't know what it's about, the Factor newsletter is really like behind the scenes stories of what's going on while we're building this. The Creative Club newsletter, if you go to our website right now, samesame.cc, you'll find some information about what that's gonna be, and then you're signing up to a newsletter, which is gonna give you even more information on it. Plus, it also gives you like there's a whole newsletter flow that adds value to your life in some way. Um, and that's kind of what newsletters are, like, it there are the ones that you sign up to because you wanna get 10% off, they add value in that way, and yeah, and then there are ones you sign up to because they send you some kind of stories that you like to read, and it adds value in that way, and then there are ones that send you a mix of those things. Yeah, so I think it's just, like, whether or not you find what the topic of the newsletter is interesting or not.
Of course, I, for example, really believe in both of our newsletters as
Yeah.
adding value. And that's why I'm like, obviously, extremely fine with promoting them. It just always feels like a little bit dirty. Like,
Yeah,
here,
no, I get
read
it.
all of this, but ooh, by the way, sign up for the newsletter to receive
I
more.
do think there are people out there that really don't like that kind of content and they just won't engage with it or they won't sign up. They might even unfollow you if you post too much of that. And I think there are other people out there who just don't care.
Yeah, I think it really depends. If sometimes, well, like when I follow someone and I really like their content and they just add like another stream to it and I'm really interested in it, I would sign up for it, sure. And I don't mind if they would like post something and then say, hey, by the way, here's a CTA
Yeah,
to
exactly.
do something. I'm like, okay, fine, that's okay for me. But as the person doing that, eh, need to find a balance. It feels a bit dirty.
Maybe someday we'll have people who do that for us.
Oh my god, that would be so chills. That would be great.
Yeah,
I think
goals.
I think selling like I think it has to do with selling yourself maybe, or maybe my perspective. And selling the services, I know that they're great and I really believe in all of them. It's just I think putting yourself out there and trying to sell it. I think in any case, like we just had a podcast guest where we talked about like a community event. I think even that, like getting people to come to my event, blah blah blah. I think even that would feel a bit
Ox.
ox for me. And I
Mhm.
think the whole process of it is just ox for me. But yeah.
But that's what you're working on now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Did we read July? I think we did, and I think we forgot to write June, and then we just did it in July.
Yeah. August. I liked August. It's it's so chaotic, this episode. I don't know if it adds any value for anyone. Maybe it's just for people who listen to us while they, I don't know, drive the car or
I'm getting so tired. I have to lie down. I'm sorry.
um I would rate August as 8 out of 10 slash 9 out of 10 actually. I don't know. It's a bit difficult because I really enjoyed it. Working on our internal projects, and I think I found like a spark again that I haven't had in a long time.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. And yesterday, for example, I hyper focused so much on work, which I really haven't had in a long time. So, but like out of motion, not out of necessity, which is like also nice to see again.
Okay, I say 8 out of 10 as well because it was a good month, but it was like, yeah, there was nothing like amazing that happened.
No, it was very solid though.
Solid month.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Never Went to Business School. Don't forget to follow us here on Spotify. And if you enjoy our content, check out our YouTube channel for more educational videos and subscribe to our newsletter on Substack.